Have you ever had that experience of masturbating and simply nothing coming out? No sperm, no fluid, just a dry orgasm? When this happens for the first time, it's normal to feel desperate. We think, am I getting too old? Is there something wrong with me? Calm down, take a deep breath. You're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. Studies show that approximately 1 in every 3 men over 60 experiences what medicine calls a dry orgasm, meaning they reach the peak of pleasure without ejaculating. And look, this number could be even higher because many men are ashamed to talk about it, even with their doctor. A study conducted by the Hospital das Clínicas in São Paulo revealed that 38% of men over 60 did not ejaculate at all in the last year. This isn't a death sentence for your sex life. It's just a sign that your body is changing and you need to learn to listen to it in a different way. I'm Dr. Beatriz Nogueira, a specialist in men's health with over 20 years of experience. Throughout my career here in Brazil, I've treated thousands of mature men, from Belém to Porto Alegre, from the northeastern backlands to the southeastern capitals. And I can assure you one thing: sexuality has no expiration date. It just changes form. In this video, you'll discover real and safe methods to achieve orgasm, even without ejaculation, maintain an active and fulfilling sex life, and most importantly, stop feeling like less of a man because of something that's completely natural. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm going to tell you could completely change the way you see your own body. Before we start, I want to thank our loyal viewer, Mr. João Carlos, 67 years old, from Recife. Thank you for the affection and ongoing support. If you also want your name mentioned, leave a comment with your city's name and a reflection on the content. Who knows, you might be next. Now, let's get to the point. Why does it become difficult to ejaculate? The answer lies in a series of deep and silent changes that happen in the male body, and it has nothing to do with you being less of a man or being finished. As the years pass, the male body undergoes important transformations. The prostate and seminal vesicles, which are responsible for producing and expelling sperm, begin to reduce their activity. After 60, these glands gradually decrease the amount of sperm produced and, in some cases, completely block the release of the fluid. Add to that the natural drop in testosterone, the key hormone for sexual desire, arousal, and orgasm. And there's more. Blood circulation also becomes less efficient with age, which makes it harder to fully activate the nerves in the pelvic region and penis, making the ejaculation reflex slower or even non-existent. Many men ask me in the comments, but Dr. Beatriz, is this normal or is it a disease? Look, in most cases, it's completely normal. It's part of aging. But ignoring this sign can lead to serious consequences. Ejaculation isn't just for pleasure, it also acts as a natural cleansing of the body. When this process gets stuck for too long, it increases the risk of chronic inflammation and prostate problems. The Brazilian Society of Urology has highlighted that older men with very rare ejaculations have a higher likelihood of developing prostatic dysfunctions, and it doesn't stop there. The psychological aspect is also greatly affected. The inability to fully experience sexual pleasure can cause frustration, insomnia, apathy, and even loss of interest in daily activities. The risks of ignoring this sign. How many men have I seen in my office who gave up hobbies, stopped leaving the house, isolated themselves from friends, all because they felt like less of a man for not being able to ejaculate like before? It's essential not to dismiss this condition with a simple, "I'm just getting old." This is a warning sign that deserves attention. If neglected for too long, it can bring serious problems to both the body and the mind. But calm down, it's not a definitive condemnation. The secret is to deeply understand your condition and adopt a new approach, more natural and unhurried toward pleasure. Now, I need to talk about some habits that, without you knowing, might be making the situation worse. How many of you masturbate just to relieve stress, thinking, since I'm not going to ejaculate anyway, it doesn't matter how I do it? This seemingly harmless thought can further harm sexual function. One of the most common mistakes is intensifying the stimulation too much, gripping the penis too hard, making very abrupt movements, all to compensate for the loss of sensitivity. But this type of stimulation ends up numbing the nerves and creating chronic tension in the pelvic muscles. And it's precisely these muscles that are essential for ejaculation. When they get locked up, they block the natural reflex. To make it worse, there's the rush. Sexual pleasure is only fully experienced in a state of relaxation. When you hurry, the brain becomes desensitized to pleasure, making it increasingly difficult to reach orgasm. A study presented at a urology congress in Japan in 2022 showed that the decline in masturbation quality in old age directly contributes to sexual dysfunctions, errors that worsen the problem. So it's fundamental to abandon performance anxiety and rediscover slowness. Pleasure arises from the process, not just the final result. Another point that comes up a lot in the comments. Dr. Beatriz, do those exercises you talk about really work, or is it just talk? Look, I understand the skepticism. We live in a world full of miraculous promises that lead nowhere. But what I'm going to teach you now has a scientific basis and has already helped thousands of my patients over these 20 years. I'll introduce you to 3 effective techniques for masturbating in a safe and satisfying way, respecting your body and your stage of life. The first is called slow touch. Instead of stimulating the penis directly, start by gently caressing the thighs, the lower abdomen, and the perineum, which is the area between the anus and the testicles. This helps relax the muscles and awaken the senses gradually, generating pleasure even without ejaculation. The key is to appreciate each sensation slowly without rushing to get anywhere. Technique 1. Slow touch. The second technique involves using deep breathing to relax the pelvic muscles. Before starting any stimulation, inhale and exhale, slowly at least 10 times, focusing on the abdominal area. This simple exercise releases the tensions that are preventing orgasm. Many Brazilian urologists recommend this practice, and studies show it's particularly useful for men over 60. The third is heat therapy. After a hot bath, place a warm towel on the perineum area. It's a simple but powerful technique. It stimulates circulation, awakens the nerves, and helps those suffering from dry orgasms recover sensitivity. Here in Brazil, with our climate, it sometimes seems excessive to talk about heat, but believe me, this specific area needs that thermal stimulation to function well. Technique 2, deep breathing. These 3 approaches, slow touch, conscious breathing, thermal stimulation, aren't focused only on the final result. They aim to awaken the body with delicacy. They're perfect for this stage of maturity because they respect the new rhythms of the body and soul. Remember, sexual satisfaction isn't just a performance, it's a way to find connection with yourself. Integrating these practices into your nightly routine can even improve sleep and emotional well-being. Mr. Antonio Ferreira, 70 years old from Belo Horizonte, told me that after applying these techniques, he found a full and serene sex life even without ejaculating. He reported experiencing a deep satisfaction that comes from the heart, not just the body. Technique 3. Heat therapy. Now, let's talk about natural methods to protect the health of the prostate and seminal vesicles. To truly recover sexual pleasure, it's not enough to change stimulation techniques. It's essential to care for the organs that are at the base of everything. Many people ask about prostate massage. Some say they've recovered sensitivity thanks to this technique. Indeed, gentle stimulation can improve blood flow and facilitate the elimination of toxins. However, I need to be honest with you. If done incorrectly or too aggressively, it can cause pain and even inflammation. That's why it's better to avoid doing it yourself without guidance from a specialist. When it comes to health, caution is essential. But there are much safer and easier methods to include in your daily life. Pelvic stretching, for example, is excellent for stimulating circulation in the prostate and seminal vesicles. These structures are located deep in the pelvic region, and their functionality is linked to flexibility and good irrigation of the area. An exercise I always recommend is this. Sit on your heels and slowly lean your torso forward, holding the position for a few minutes. Even if it's just 3 minutes a day, if practiced consistently, this movement improves pelvic venous circulation and promotes a more favorable environment for seminal fluid production. In addition to helping sexual function, this stretch also relieves lower back pain and improves urination. A simple habit with double benefits. Natural methods for the prostate. Another very effective and accessible method is hydrotherapy. Soaking your feet and legs up to the knees in warm water at night can significantly improve circulation in the lower limbs and enhance prostate oxygenation. Keeping the pelvic region warm is also important. A heating pad on your chair while watching TV can help gradually reactivate the perineal area and prostate. Mr. Marcos Oliveira, 78 years old, from Salvador, told me that although he didn't notice big changes in the amount of sperm, he felt the intensity of his orgasms reborn, like in his youth. This natural, gradual, and respectful approach is usually the most effective way to rediscover sexual vitality. Now, let's talk about nutrition, a fundamental aspect for supporting the body from within. Some foods can promote prostate health, stimulate seminal production, and maintain hormonal balance, especially with age. Among the most important nutrients, there are 3 you should always keep in mind. The first is zinc, an essential mineral for sperm formation and proper prostate function. Zinc deficiency can reduce the amount of seminal fluid, decrease sexual desire, and alter hormonal balance. Older men often consume less meat and fish, increasing the risk of deficiency. The zinc-rich foods we easily find here in Brazil are oysters, which are delicious in the Northeast, beef, pumpkin seeds, aged cheese, and chickpeas. A dish I always recommend is an omelet with chickpeas and parsley, or a green salad with cheese shavings and toasted pumpkin seeds. Nutrition: zinc, arginine, and vitamin E. The second essential nutrient is arginine, an amino acid that promotes blood vessel dilation and consequently blood flow to the pelvic region. When circulation in the genital area improves, sensitivity and orgasm intensity increase. Rich sources of arginine that we find easily are chicken breast beans, which thank God are never missing from the Brazilian table, whole grains, and Brazil nuts, our Amazonian treasure. A balanced diet with these foods can make a big difference in sexual satisfaction. The third fundamental element is vitamin E, known for its antioxidant properties. It slows cellular aging, promotes sex hormone production, and protects the prostate and seminal vesicles from deterioration. It's also useful for maintaining the delicate hormonal balance in mature men. Among the vitamin E-rich foods we find in Brazil, we have avocados, which are cheap and tasty here, almonds, sunflower seeds, and extra virgin olive oil. A good habit is to start the day with a bowl of natural yogurt, chopped almonds, and a drizzle of olive oil. Mr. Jose Roberto, 73 years old, from Curitiba, told me that after adopting these eating habits, he noticed a gradual increase in seminal fluid and a reduction in nighttime urination discomforts. Now, let's talk about daily habits that help maintain balanced testosterone levels. Testosterone doesn't just affect ejaculatory function, but also sexual desire, muscle mass, and psychological well being. As the years go by, its production naturally decreases. To counterbalance this drop, some actions are essential. First, sleep well. About 70% of testosterone is produced during deep sleep. Sleeping little or poorly drastically reduces hormone levels. That's why sleeping at least 6 to 7 hours straight every night is one of the most powerful strategies for hormonal health. Avoid using your phone before bed. Reduce coffee after 6 p.m. and maintain regular schedules. Simple precautions that make a huge difference. Second, expose yourself to morning sunlight. Getting sun for 10 to 15 minutes right after waking up, perhaps during a walk in the square or on the balcony, stimulates serotonin, which turns into melatonin at night. This helps regulate sleep and support testosterone production. This simple habit helps the body and mind wake up properly. Third, physical activity. Light exercises like brisk walks or squats help with pelvic circulation and improve sexual response. Moderate muscle stimulation signals the body to produce more hormones. 3 15-minute sessions per week are enough to see the first results. The important thing is to be consistent. With small daily changes, you can achieve great transformations. These habits, accessible to everyone without needing pills or expensive equipment, favor natural testosterone production and consequently improve ejaculation and sexual desire. Habits to maintain testosterone. Now, let's talk about something many men ignore. Pleasure doesn't originate only in the genitals. Most pleasure happens in the brain, and it can be trained, awakened, and deepened regardless of age. There's a specific region between the base of the penis and the anus that houses a dense set of nerves fundamentally related to the prostate and the ejaculatory reflex. It's a crucial point for sexual vitality. The method to stimulate this region is simple. Lie on your back, bend your knees, and slowly open them outward, letting the perineal area relax completely. Hold this position for 5 minutes. Just this exercise can improve blood flow in the pelvic area and sexual sensitivity. The second exercise consists of a pelvic breathing and relaxation practice. It's particularly effective before bed when the body needs to relax. Sit in a chair with your back straight. Breathe deeply and gently move the pelvis. This movement naturally stimulates the pelvic muscles without effort, preparing the body in a more harmonious way for perceiving pleasure. Repeating this exercise every night promotes a constant improvement in sensory connection. The pleasure originates in the brain. The third tip is to practice masturbation without necessarily aiming for ejaculation. Many men see this only as a means to reach climax. But transforming this moment into pure sensory listening can bring much deeper satisfaction. Instead of viewing ejaculation as an obligation, try considering each stimulus as part of a journey. Listen to your body and your emotions. These 3 simple habits, accessible to anyone regardless of age, are powerful tools for recovering sexual function and improving psychological well-being. Discovering the value of time dedicated to pleasure, recognizing that these sensations are natural and healthy, helps the nervous system reactivate spontaneously. Even without ejaculation, it's absolutely possible to experience deep sexual satisfaction. It's exactly these small, daily, and delicate gestures that allow us to gracefully embrace the changes of age, building a more stable and conscious sexuality. And now we come to the final reflection: how to embrace sexual pleasure throughout life. how to integrate it serenely into daily life. At some point, many men start thinking, I'm not the same as before. It's better to let it go. Sex is now a thing of the past. And they draw an invisible line. But is that really the end? No, not at all. The joy of sexuality doesn't depend on age, but on how you choose to live it. Even if functions change, even if sensations transform, if you choose to meet yourself with calm and respect every day, sexuality can become much more than a physical act. It can transform into vital force. Over more than 20 years alongside mature men, I've heard stories, doubts, rebirths, and understood one thing for sure. Those who don't give up, who continue to listen to themselves and explore, are precisely the ones who achieve the most intense joys. Sexuality isn't measured in comparison to others, isn't judged by intensity or appearance, but by how authentic it is in itself. The important thing is to rediscover within yourself that sense of well-being and connection. Final reflection: age is not a limit. Many ask me in the comments, and women, Dr. Beatriz? What about female sexuality in old age? That's a very important question, and I promise I'll make a special video just about that. Women also go through intense transformations and deserve all the care and attention. Stay tuned. From now on, face your sexuality with honesty and kindness. There's a new joy waiting for you, unique, all yours. Your body has carried you through life. It's your most precious asset. Now, more than ever, it deserves to be cared for with love. When you do that, age stops being a limit, and sexuality returns to being energy, vitality, and presence. We've concluded our conversation today. I'll continue sharing relevant content for those who want to live fully without letting age get in the way. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with that friend who needs to hear this. Your support is fundamental to us. And if you want to leave a comment with your city or your reflections on what we discussed today, you could be the protagonist of the next video. Thank you from the heart for staying with me until the end. Take care. Until next time.